It's July the 19th, 2016. I'm Dana Durnford, your host, a nuclear proctologist.org. And you can find these videos and Fukushima presentations throughout the entire internet. Internet. And we see internet, we see internet. You see internet, I see internet. The headline tonight is, can we trust nuclear scientists after Fukushima? But we're going to start off with another story about a killer who killed one of our donators. Donators is a weird way to say it, I guess. So we done 5 expeditions on Fukushima Expeditions for Life, and we took donations. This is a .org, the nuclear proctologist.org. Now, after Fukushima happened, and we're going to bring up that picture. Sometimes that doesn't work quite as fast as I want. Louis L'Amour, Victoria, British Columbia. He's wanted for homicide. He's a travel agent in British Columbia. You can see a picture of him there in the top corner. But I want you to listen to this clip. This is 5 years ago. This is really important. And that's not the one, Dana. Here we go.
So as I mentioned before, you have to wait for this bar. These are 20-second cycles. You have to, whoa, that's really high, folks. At 1.2, you're to exit the area. That's 1.3. Now we have to wait for 5 of these cycles to know if it's actually, okay, dangerous. Okay,
now he raised money going across Canada, and he was shown radioactive fallout from Japan's melted reactors. But a couple of weeks ago, 5 years later, he came up to my community and he says Fukushima doesn't happen, and he's come up to try to smear me. But what he did do is he posted a video a couple of weeks ago about his trip here. Now watch this clip coming up. He's going to calibrate his Geiger counter. Just watch this.
Yes, it's radioactive. Yes, I shouldn't be touching it right now. You're absolutely correct. So I'll be doing a test later on. I've already tested them, but yeah, just to... Whoops. Gotta hit the reset. Alright, so yeah, soaps, same thing with the soaps, you know. Very reactionary. Okay, so I'm going to take that out of my hand, obviously. We'll do a test later on to calibrate them both.
So that was 5 years later. Now, I got one more short clip. Let's play that coming up. And I'll explain to you what he done.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
So this is back 5 years ago. The one you just watched before, the yellow, was a couple of weeks ago.
Folks, just unbelievable. So those of you who are doubting if Fukushima's coming here on the west coast, well, I'm in Alberta already, and here we go, 0.68.
That's 1.68, folks. Okay. So what you had is you have this person who's known as Louis L'Amour. He's from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And here he was 5 years ago raising money to look for radiation. And then he showed you, hey folks, there's radiation. And then he comes up here to smear me, and he gets the same number on his Geiger counter, the same Geiger counter, by calibrating it with a piece of material. What's the chances? That's how he got the numbers in Lake Louise. What's the chances? That's exactly what he was doing. He had a piece under that, in that other video, that first video 5 years ago, he had a paper towel. He laid his Geiger counter on a paper towel. Underneath that was his piece of radioactive material. And he raised an enormous amount of money telling people that radiation was here. Okay. It was here. But he was trying to control the narrative. I hear my audio jumping again that time. Alrighty. Well, let's go over and talk about Fukushima. This person, Louis L'Amour, from British Columbia, he murdered one of our donors. One of the donors caused him to commit suicide. Harassed him right up until he died. Right up until he committed suicide. Stalked him. To try to get him to stop supporting me on the Fukushima expeditions for life. Month after month after month. When I was on the ocean, on the expedition, that person you were listening to harassed the major donor at the time so hard, so much, he committed suicide. And here he was in another video calibrating a Geiger counter with the same numbers that he used to raise money to go across Canada with, saying it was from Fukushima. You're talking about some seriously demented people, some really bent and twisted, moralist, soulless types of people. And I'm supposed to be in that shot for some reason, but I'm not. Just let me fix that. I'll give you a second here. And it gets here. That's what I'll just make myself. Well, hang on. I got another setting there. I might fix that. No, I didn't import it. That's okay. Just give me 1 second. We'll make that work. I'll come over and say hi to everybody in a few moments. I'll put myself down in the corner. I notice I faded when I done that one. Let's get me back a little bit of color. Okay, here we go. So we got a really good story for everybody tonight. Let's get that conversation up. And hi everybody. Thank you everybody. I'll come right over right now and say a quick hi to everybody. We'll come back and do a better one later on. At the top of the page you're seeing Jan Brooks. Jan's Miss Milky the Clown 1 and Miss Milky the Clown. On YouTube has 5 years of the media's reports on Fukushima. And Amthers, hi Deb. Once again, sorry Deb, I couldn't call you. I was saving the minutes on my phone because I don't have anything, right? I was saving the minutes to do a radio show in Hawaii, but I burnt those minutes up on Kate from the Fukushima Hounds because she wanted to talk to me. And Elaine, hi Elaine, and that's her son Sean, who passed away a few years ago from terrible, terrible illness, cancer. And she'd done everything imaginable for her child, like any other mother would. And I probably shouldn't be talking about Elaine in particular, I'm sure. But it's just one of the reasons that drive me anyway. One of the things behind me is I know people that have put their faith in the system, and the system has destroyed them completely and utterly, and their loved ones. And this is just a perpetual, like the cancer industry is a perpetual murder machine. And you know, everybody done what they thought it was right. They've done what they were trained, and throughout life has been, you know, reinforced. It was morally ethical thing to do was to take your children to the hospital and let them perform these experiments on them for cancer, because cancer is such a brutal thing. And you know, I don't know, like the average person, I wouldn't know what I would do either in that position, right? Now I kind of know. I wouldn't go that route, but no, we don't have the luxury of reflection in those scenarios. And I have it in my own personal life, and I know so many people around me with cancer that had that done the same thing to themselves or their loved ones, facilitated that, because that was what we're taught. That's how we're taught to take our loved ones to the hospital and let them radiate our children in the hopes that we're cured. But it turned out that's not true. It turns out that our scientists and academics, we can't be trusted. Jake, hi everybody. And I know I wasn't really expecting anybody to show up, because Electric Lady, or Sika Lady, Slacky Lady, I haven't got my glasses on, so you'll excuse me. Let me get everything out of the way. I just wanted to come in and say a quick hi to everybody. And once again, you know me, once I start saying hi, I got a tendency to start rattling. Hyper, Boreal, and everybody that I don't say hi to, my apologies. Well, like you say, once again, let's keep rolling, because we got a very important, like we just covered previous minutes, we talked about a murderer named Louis L'Amour from British Columbia, Canada, Victoria, working as a travel agent, who was going to be going up on manslaughter charges in the near future. No matter how much whining and sniveling and crying he does, I don't know any other way around that. So, I just thought this was a great picture of the zombies. It really of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Welcome to Tokyo Electric Power Company. Is that a radiation detector? No, it's a lie detector. And there's a... We're getting there. Bear with me for 1 second. Different ways to become a zombie. Okay. So the one that says radiation and college. That's the ones we're going to be talking about tonight. Radiation and college. Eat the rich for the eat you. I just thought that was funny. So the story tonight is T. Douglas Riley is one of them. Readers view radiation and the cost of ignorance. And here's the cost of ignorance. He's retired and got a pension, and he should never survive long enough in a job to get retirement, and he should never got a pension. This person, under every circumstance you can come up with, does not deserve a pension. Absolutely not. Nuclear engineer by day, zombie slayer by night. Now he loves dogs. You can see he's lying there on his dog. I like doggies too. This is Dr. Raymond Gilmedy. He kills beagle dogs and beagle puppies for 35 years with plutonium dioxides and americium neptuniums. And so this particular study here, he's got 94 of them. He has 144 dogs, and they all died within 5 years. Tumors of the lung, skeleton, liver, third sentence from the top, about 3 years after exposure. Bone tumors, 93 dogs were the most common cause of death. 93 dogs had bone tumors that killed them. Liver tumors, lung tumors, and these were competing causes of death. But most of them died from the bone tumor itself. Oh God, I might never find my spot again. Here we are. But here he is, lit on his dog. I hid his dog to protect his dog's face because his dog looks like he's a juvenile, so I didn't want to. Now I'm going to have a cigarette, and my cigarettes don't have 7,000 chemicals. But that institution where he taught, we'll get to that in a minute, and Los Alamos and stuff like that, they kill dogs like you can't even imagine. They hate dogs. Makes you wonder what would he, I hear my voice jumping at him, what he's doing with a dog. My cigarettes don't have 7,000 chemicals. Yours does. Your friends do. Your neighbors do. Okay, now before we talk about that, because he's an academic who's retired, it's a pretty straightforward conversation here tonight. This is a really bad recording, but bear with me.
The U.S. Secret Service has released the first 104 pages of agency documents about the late coder and activist Aaron Swartz, including a report on Swartz's suicide less than 3 months before his scheduled trial. You may remember back in January 2011, Swartz was caught using MIT's public network to download 4 million academic articles.
So he downloaded 4 million academic articles. Why? Because they were locked up behind a paywall. And so he knows that. He understands that. He knows it's really difficult for you to go out and find people like Dr. Raymond Gilmedy showing you how all the dogs died from the radiation. Yeah? He knows how difficult that is for the average person to be able to go out and hunt down and find. That's why he's so smug looking and so arrogant. But anyway, he wrote this story, and we're going to cover that. Now, interesting thing about this was you couldn't leave a comment because of Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. And not that I would use Facebook. Not that there's anything wrong with Facebook if you use it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I personally won't use it. Let me fix that coloring we got going on here. Give me a hard time today, eh? I don't know why he's doing that. Let me just adjust it. There you go. That's a bit better. But as always, you're required to use your real full name when posting. Be courteous to others when posting. So Santa Fe, New Mexico now uses Facebook to power its comment form. How come? Well, because not many people will comment. And because his story is so disingenuous, no one had bothered commenting up to that point. But anyway, a recent local incident involving a radioactive americium source, americium-241, found in Santa Fe and transferred to Los Alamos National Laboratory. This cost $6 million paid by the owner and involved 40 people. Now, he's going to try to make a case that radiation is safe and that they could have just drove it there in the back of a pickup. And that if there was an accident, well, tough luck. then it's a problem. But they wouldn't have an accident, is how he sees it, basically. So, let's keep going. Radiation is around and inside us always. That's not radiation that's around us or inside of us. That's emitters. There's only 3 emitters that you're worried about, and you're not worried about them that got any energy, rather, is a better way of putting it. It's potassium, uranium, and radon. And none of these, even though they claim half the people who gets lung cancer got it from radon, I have never seen the proof of that. I've never seen documentation of that. I've never seen litigation about that. But that's their stats, like all their other stats. And they also say it's like a banana. They also say it's like getting on an airplane. They also say it's like walking in sunshine. And just because they said radon gave people cancer doesn't mean that's true. Just like bananas and nuclear bombs are not true. Just like potato chips and nuclear weapons got nothing to do with each other. But yet they say that also. Okay, so radiation is around and inside us always. Ignorance of this fact of nature promotes the fear that a large part of the public has. So he goes on talking about blah, 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 how at sea level, okay, so look at the standard unit of radiation up there, about 4 sentences from the top. The standard unit of radiation dose in the U.S. is REMS. No, that's for like sunshine. That's for like X-rays, because they're not atomic atoms. You're not talking about atoms. You're not talking about something floating around in the air. You're talking about something you turn on, you turn off. That's REMS. So the sunshine is like an X-ray in one way. It's not like you ingested a radioactive element. And so when we talk about man-made radiation, we're not talking about fuel rods, right? Which are X-rays and neutrons and gamma shines and beta shines and stuff like that. Which is like an X-ray, like a flashlight, how it shines, right? What we're talking about is particles, atoms, elements. Okay. So they say the standard unit of radiation dose is your 4th sentence from the top. In the U.S. is REMS, and for natural radiation sources. Then they say medical and dental X-ray, including CAT scans, and most nuclear medicine procedures. What the frig is he talking about? That's not natural. That's got nothing to do with natural. That's got nothing, zero to do with natural. So why call it natural? Why equate it right there with natural? For natural radiation sources, medical and dental X-rays, including CAT scans. That's not natural. So right off the bat, right there, right now, this person has become a monster. This person who has taught at universities and is retired and won't give it up, insists on coming out here and lying to everybody, equating it with natural. Okay. So you see the 4th sentence from the bottom, 5th sentence from the bottom. At sea level, it's right above my head there, right? That sentence. At sea level, the annual natural background dose is about 300 millirems. Yeah, but millirems got nothing to do with ingesting a radioactive atom. That's atomic. That's pulsing every second in your body. Every second. 60 seconds a minute, 1,440 minutes a day. This is not... See, millirem is how they're lying it. Millirem is how they're manipulating you. Millirems is how they're deceiving you. Millirems is how they slapped you in the mouth. Millirems is how they raped your loved ones. At 7,000 feet above sea level, it's about 550 millirems. Does anybody know what the fuck this person is talking about? Does any fucking buddy know why this person is on this planet besides him? So he says approximately 15% comes from within our body. What the fuck is he talking about? We're talking about man-made, not natural stuff. This stuff is everywhere. It's in everything. Your body's acclimated through genetic superior selection. You can't get any more in your fucking body. You can't get any more in your body. 15% comes from the bottom. This is due to the potassium. What the fuck is he talking about? How does potassium got anything to do with a dirty bomb or a nuclear weapon or nuclear fucking fallout? Show me the map of potassium in a fucking fallout so I can choke you to fucking death if I ever get my hands on you. That's just political hyperbole, okay? I've already been arrested for saying stuff like that before by fucking idiots that for some reason can't take criticism. Oh, they didn't says he's gonna fucking this or that, and we're gonna call the police. No, they done that to smear me. Because that's a fucking lie. That person is a scumbag who should be fucking hung after he's put in trial for being a scumbag, for being an idiot, for being an asshole, for being a fucking monster, for being a useless bag of shit, for being a prick, for being a scumbag, but for being a monster. This is due to potassium that is essential for life, and all potassium includes the radioactive isotopes K40. The fuck is he talking about? You can take pounds of potassium-40 and you can't even power an itty tiny little itty bitty LED. With pounds of potassium-40 you couldn't power. With tons of it you can't power it. But you take a gram of man-made ionizing radiation like cesium, and that can power a million 1-watt bulbs for 9 months. A fucking gram of man-made. So, like, he wrote that whole paragraph there to fuck you over. The media that printed it allowed him to do it. Never bothered saying, hey, we know this person's a lying bag of shit and we don't agree with him, but we're going to let him post his nonsense, his bullshit, his fucking salacious, demented, twisted, out of touch with reality, slapping your fucking mouth. Like, if you're his friend or his family or his loved ones, he just fucking insulted you and humiliated you. You should cut off all ties with that fucking monster known as T. Douglas Riley immediately. That's a fucking monster what he wrote there. Period. Look, what he's doing here is he's feeding you this fable. Here, I'll get myself out of the way. He's feeding you that fable there. Let me get that out of the way. Right? He's telling you that story that he wrote. That story there is you. That's with the hearts around you. But in reality, he's the guy with the mop and the bucket. That's what he is. When he wrote that story. Fear of nuclear reactors and radiation has long been propagated by anti-nuclear groups. What the fuck is he talking about? Has long been propagated. But what the fuck is what he just wrote there? This is the propagation. Radiation is around and inside of us always? What the fuck does that even mean? Where's your grammar on that one? I'm not supposed to have grammar. I'm just a YouTuber. Nuclearproctologist.org. You're a fucking scientist. Yeah, you're the worst one. You're the most unimaginable thing imaginable. You're the most dangerous. For nuclear reactors and radiation, okay. He says it's definitely wise to develop renewable energy sources like solar, wind, geothermal, hydro, and tidal. Solar and wind are little use when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. Yeah, you build big tanks, big volume tanks of steel, most abundant mineral on the planet, and then you take the solar and the wind, you compress it with compressors into air, you store it in the volume tank, and you use the air to power it for weeks after while you're waiting for the sun to come back out. His argument is that, oh, well, the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, therefore we're going to have nuclear. That's what he's doing. Besides all the lies he just told earlier. Wind turbines kill many thousands of birds each year, especially raptors like eagles and hawks. You got any fucking idea what nuclear does, dickhead? Let me remind you what Dr. Raymond Gilmedy done to dogs. Now, do you think that Dr. Raymond Gilmedy is the only guy after killing beagle dogs and beagle puppies for 35 years? They've killed fucking millions. Millions. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions. And cesium compound, curium rather, isotopes are the major product. Cesium is just a tracer. Iodine is just a tracer. They're really bad, but they're just tracers. Once again, my cigarette don't have 7,000 chemicals. So think about how your professors and your institutions and universities and your academics and your media has all lied to you and said, oh, nicotine causes cancer. They show me the study. You've only been doing it for 50 years. You can't link nicotine to cancer. But the 7,000 chemicals you ignore, I bet you lots of them are carcinogenic because I know they are. because it's proven already. But the fuck, by the way, who woke up one day? Why's my audio jumping like this so much tonight? I wonder. Who woke up and said, hey, I got it. Let's put 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette and not bother to tell anybody? Who in the government said, hey, there's 7,000 chemicals in the cigarette, but let's not tell anybody? I'll tell you who. Like, you know, these people. It's these people here, and it's the Congress and the Senate and your judicial system that allows them to get away with it. Don't hold them accountable. And that's why he looks so fucking smug in that picture there. That's why he's so arrogant and pompous and fucking so much hubris sitting right over there. It's because he's actually a monster. He knows he's a monster. He's not going to deny he's a monster. Ignorance allows the media and anti-nuclear groups to broadcast false results, events like 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, and Fukushima Daiichi. The scientific facts are, this is him now, 3 Mile Island killed no one. No? Well, the study's shown over 200,000 people ingested massive amounts of the carcinogens. And that cancer takes decades to show up, and did. But people in those areas weren't followed. They weren't investigated. They were ignored. Same thing with Chernobyl, Coffee Anna, 3 million children with permanent disabilities. You don't fucking bother mentioning that, do you? Huh? Over 5,000 Ukrainian and Russian studies translated showed over 1 million people died. At most 4,000 died, according to him. Definitely a disaster. We're not to 20 million deaths. No one ever said 20 million deaths. I can't find any reference to that anywhere on the planet. So he inflates it and then lies about it repeatedly the entire article. And no one has been killed or seriously injured by the radiation from Fukushima disaster. See, that is completely fucking out of control. 7 people died on one street in Fukushima Prefecture. Dropped fucking dead. I know I'm swearing tonight. But this person, if that's what you want to call him, I don't see him as a person. I don't see him as human like me or you. He doesn't act like me or you. He doesn't talk like me or you. He doesn't think like me or you. Please don't worry. That's his thing. That's his routine. T. Douglas Riley's retired, and he's totally, completely out of control. He's completely out of control. He's completely disingenuous. He's completely soulless. Are we really going to let a bunch of greedy, selfish, fucking monsters destroy this whole planet? See, this is natural philosopher. That's what, but anyway, let's keep going. He says he's a 100% volunteer. Now, principal employment, staff member, retired Los Alamos National Laboratory. This creature, this person who just come out and lied to you, was working at Los Alamos National Laboratory. But he was also in charge at the IAEA as the senior. Let's get that up. I got to get rid of myself real quick here. Senior safe at the very bottom at the IAEA, 1988. He was the senior safeguard training officer, 1998 and 2002 IAEA, and he's teaching international safeguards and nuclear material and treaty non-proliferations. I don't know where the rest of that is too. We're probably working right here. Austria, Vienna, Atomic Energy Agency, Joint Research. And okay, so here's a person who is a notorious lawyer by his own words, by his own article, that article here. You can go and read the words yourself. Lie after lie after lie. Then uses natural, everyday, stupid, indigenous, harmless, normal background radiation and equates it with man-made to confuse you. Everything he says in that whole story is from a nuclear public relation firms. Now, this is a person who taught your children. This is a person who went to IAEA and taught people how to deal with nuclear. and then comes out and lies to the entire population. So he was lying to his students, lying to the people at the IAEA that were trying to get training. That's all you can take away from that. That this person is 100% a monster. And that he won't give it up. No one, you can't find a video on him. He won't give up the lies. He won't give up the lies because he's a monster. He enjoys what he does. Just take a look at him. Think about Douglas Riley. Think about all the institutions and places where he's still out there right now volunteering, out there polluting people's minds with his fucking gibberish, with his nonsense, with his soulless, demented articles. And then the people that publish these articles gives them a free fucking ride. No checks and balances, no counter debate, no, so hey, wait a second, you can't go lying to the population. No. Santa Fe, New Mexico didn't do any of that. No, we'll just let them loose. Let them go and tell everybody it's like a banana. Let them tell everybody it's everywhere. It's like a dental x-ray. See that? Natural radiation sources, medical and dental x-rays and CAT scans and nuclear medicine is now, according to him, natural fucking radiation. Mr. Riley, sir, like, do you have friends and families and loved ones that you love? You know, do you have people that you have tricked and deceived now trust you? Of course you do, right? And are you not ashamed of what you're doing? Are you not humiliated that you spent your whole life and no one's ever called you out, and now I have to call you out because of what you've done, because of what you're saying, because of the implications of your words, and because of the fact that you're an educator, and that our children spend decades under your fucking iron fist, under your soulless fucking gaze, under your heartless fucking scrutiny. How can you lie there with a dog under your head? Huh? How can you lie there with a dog under your head knowing they kill dogs non-stop all day, every day? Still doing it today. Right there at Loveless Respiratory Research in New Mexico. They're still killing the bagel dogs and the bagel puppies. How can that not affect you? You pompous, arrogant fucking maggot. You traitor. You anti-human fucking prick. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You fucking stupid, idiotic, moronic, demonic, soulless, spineless, heartless monster. I'll give it up. I fucking hate him. I fucking hate everything about him. And this prick right here too, Louis L'Amour from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, that murdered Jeff Palco in order and used it to demonize what we done. The Fukushima Expeditions for Life, the extinction event playing out in the coastline of British Columbia, Canada from the fallout from Japan's melter reactors. We took this boat, we done the entire coastline of Canada over 260 days. And instead of finding dad like we're used to, and dad like we're used to, and dad like we're used to, we found fucking, in the same spot, nothing. One of the most prestigious spots in Canada is now naked, thanks to fucking nuclear. It should look like that right there. That's the same picture as pre-Fukushima. That's pre-Fukushima in the same spot. Pre-Fukushima, post-Fukushima coming up, post-Fukushima, pre-Fukushima. As far as the eye can see, nothing but food and an amazing, incredible diversity, inconceivable. Now naked, now gone, never coming back. A fucking extinction event. Yeah, sometimes I swear. Well, you didn't swear when you were growing up. You didn't swear when you're on your own or talking around with friends. You don't swear when you hit your finger or squat your toe. You don't swear when you get fucking mad watching somebody on TV. But Dana's swearing, so Dana's a bad person. You can't talk to Dana. I don't know why he swears like that. No, because you're not swearing, not using outlets like that makes everybody a bad person. Or a good person. But if you do it, you're a bad person. Go fuck off some of you pompous fucks out there thinking that way. Go fuck you. You arrogant pricks. How fucking dare you consider how I should talk just because you grew up in that ideology. Fuck you, you pompous fucks. Who used that to avoid the conversation, avoid the narrative, to avoid the issue. How fucking dare you? Watch Hollywood movies, swearing, cursing, porn, every fucking thing else. Their violence. Danny swears. Danny's a bad person. Danny swears, man. You can't listen to Danny. He swears. How many fucking people send me emails like that, I wonder? That's pre-Fukushima pictures of the coastline of British Columbia. Look at it. Look at it, you fucks. Look at it. That's not coming back. That's gone. That's the end of the life as we know it. Now it looks like that. It'll never look like that again. It's got, because it looks like that everywhere you go. Less than 100 species left on the coastline. None of them looks like that. None of them looks like this. Nothing looks like that. Never will again. They'll never stop coming out of those reactors. We have no way to stop this because these fucking monsters like that guy there, Louis L'Amour, and this monster over in the corner, T. Douglas Riley. These are the academics we're supposed to trust. These are the people we're supposed to put our fucking faith in. Like the stupidest thing you could ever do is put your faith in an academic. The worst thing imaginable on this entire fucking planet is an academic. There is nothing worse than an academic. They've let us down endlessly. Every step of the way, the academics have stabbed us in the back. Every step of the way. Hang on. Average person in Seattle breathing in 10 hot radioactive particles a day. The radiation data from Seattle area survey will be withheld. Not maybe, it was withheld by the feds for national security. This is from Japan. Government delayed the level 7 rating. See, Riley wrote that letter, that article a couple days ago. These headlines were known back in 2011. Riley didn't have to look very hard to find anything I'm showing you now. And he knew it was there. He come out and lied to you because he's a monster. Because he's a fucking spineless prick. He's a savage. He's a vicious thug. 40 million becquerels of iodine 131. Well, if you found the iodine 131, like they did, then there was 10 times more. But 5 becquerels, you throw your food away in Germany, not 40 million. 17 becquerels in Germany, 5 rather. France is 17. What the fuck is that? What do you think the people who package up 17 becquerels a kilogram to put on a nuclear waste would do if that showed up on their fucking counter? They'd be like, whoa! I ain't touching jack shit. I got me a fucking union. I don't touch that shit. Nobody said fucking 40 million becquerels. You say 5 in Germany, 17 in France. You package it up and put it on a nuclear site. 1,500 atoms of radioactive sulfur per meter of air was detected in the California air. This was from Fukushima. Everything I'm showing you coming up is from Fukushima. You throw your food away at 5. What about your air in a cubic meter of air is 1,500 atoms. The average person there was getting around 360 atoms. The males, it was going to their testes. To their testicles. Except for Abe, his butt plugs are nuclear powered a bit. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with butt plugs. I'm just saying Abe's are nuclear powered. Damage at Yummer 2, which is the only building that's still intact. The rest of them totally blew up. Lost their inventories, complete everything. All the reactor cores that were on the roof. You got 30 million one-ton bags, but the radiation doesn't hurt anybody, Dana. Yeah, well, what do you got 30 million one-ton bags for? Moron. Stupidest person on the planet. Look, this is number 4. Look at it. Huh? You see that yellow thing on the side there? Right? That's supposed to be in the center. I'll show you a picture coming up here. Who knows what I got done here? Just scroll, scroll, scroll. Here you go. See, you see that up in the very center of the building at the top? See that round circle? Well, it's not in the center anymore. Now it's down way low and sitting on the roof. All the bolts are not even connected to anything. right? You see that yellow thing up in the corner? The tourist cap. Right? That's supposed to be at the top of the building in the center, not down on the second story. So the reactor is gone. The fuel pools are up on top of the building. Right? Where? Up there? They're gone. They tore that whole building down. That's what it used to look like after detonation. See, it blew up all the way to the ground. Right? But they don't come out and show you that. They don't come out and talk about that. They don't come out and introduce you to that. T. Douglas Riley is not going to come out and say, hey, look, the center on the top of the building, see that big thing up there is supposed to be yellow. Look at it now. It's not even there where it's supposed to be. So that means the fucking reactor blew apart, yeah? You get it yet? That yellow piece didn't come out because it stayed inside the fucking building. But how could you separate it? See? It's supposed to be up high with the fuel pools at the top of the building. Number 3 hasn't even got any top lift in the building whatsoever. It's all gone. See that? That's what the building looks like. Now look at it. Right? That's number 3 over right here. Do you get what's going on? You get how big the lie is. You get how significant that lie is. You get how dangerous that is. Fukushima, 9.0 earthquake. Tsunami hit 400 kilometers of the coastline, including nuclear power plants. They had meltdowns. This is reactor 1. The fuel pools are at the top of the building, and the top of the reactor core is close to the top of the building. Top of the building is destroyed. They admit they lost all the inventory. This is unit 2. They admit all the inventory is gone. This is what it would look like. This is number 3. It's completely gone. That's what it would look like. This is number 4, and that's what that should look. This is what the building should look like originally, but there's nothing left. He tore it all the way down to the ground. You got less than 1% of children in 2001. And so the studies is basically 2 or 3 out of a million children would have thyroid issues. Well, let's fast forward to Fukushima 1 year later. And hang on. 36%. 13,600 out of 40,000. Now, normally it's 2 or 3 out of a million, not 13,600 out of 40,000. Okay? That's game over, see? And cancer is the last one to show up. Cancer doesn't show up till way down the road normally. Normally it's heart, liver, lung, respiratory, pituitary, diabetes, etc., etc., etc. Alzheimer's, dementia, all kinds of diseases show up. Just 1,800 diseases will show up before cancer. Thyroid cancer risk lasts an entire life. Once you get the exposure, you got a whole lifetime of where it could show up anywhere along the way. Yeah, because cancer normally takes 10 to 20, 30 years to manifest, diagnose, everything else. But your thyroid is a gland. It's not like an organ where you can replace it. Children living in their nuclear power plants have double leukemia rates. Right? So T. Douglas O'Reilly, not O'Reilly, but Riley, all of his narratives just got destroyed in that one headline. Permanently. But he doesn't care because he got to where he was. He got a retirement and he's lived there on that dog pretending and he's volunteering for everything because he doesn't want to stop and think about what he done. That's why he's so active. Not because he's a good person. I can assure you he's not. He'll never be, on any circumstances, a good person. There is nothing he can do to reverse the damage he has done. All of Japan's contaminated by Fukushima. 40% of the visitors were dead people walking, internal radiation. They don't get potassium-40. You can't get any more in your body. Man-made, it never stops accumulating in your body. Potassium-40, whatever you got, you can't get any more. It's homeostasis. It's a scientific fact. Man-made, it just sequesters in your body. Your body attacks your white blood cells with white blood cells from your spleen and your joints, and displaces the red blood cells with the oxygen and the nutrients in it. 23% higher incidence of childhood leukemia within 16 miles of a nuclear facility. You know why? Because nuclear is friggin' deadly. That's why we have terrorist laws. That's why we have nuclear waste sites. Child leukemia doubles near a French study in nuclear power plants. 90% higher incidences of leukemia, and I can't remember. I think that's the French study too. I can't remember. Syracuse University. I can't remember. Evidence linking nuclear power plants to ill health. High concentration radiation hit U.S. and Canada. Plume was rich in detracers, which is a cesium. Also Hawaii. Caltofin showed the effects of plutonium on the lung tissue besides what Dr. Raymond Gilmedy and the beagle dogs and beagle puppies I showed you earlier for the last 35 years. Easosphere on the west coast. Single particle causes nodes on the lungs. Canada suspended the mobile radiation measurements when Fukushima was happening. We gave them the money, the authority, the equipment, and the ability to go look for it. And when it finally happened, they fucking shut it all off. Betrayal, you can't even imagine. Stabbed you and your friends and your own family in the back, you can't even imagine. You can't wrap your mind around how dangerous each one of these scientists are. How deadly these people actually are. How out of fucking control. How soulless and heartless. I know I used that word lately, last who knows how many, 90 videos probably. Because that's what they are. Just call it like it is. You can't switch off what they are. They can't come out and debate anything I got here. Not a single thing. They can't come out. And if you did, they wouldn't show you the rest of it. They would find something ninny me. But they wouldn't debate everything that I show you. They can't. And if they tried it, they end up crying and committing suicide like they should. All of them should commit suicide, every one of them. Before their friends and families and loved ones are humiliated when it's exposed what they've really done to us. We got to stop these sorts of reports coming out. This was Thomas, the frig was her name? Can't even remember now. I'll get back to it later. Horrified, the feds abandoned Fukushima radiation. How the brainwashing was done in Fukushima. Yeah, Goebbels will be proud. Obama picked to lead the EPA was the people who turned off the red at the radiation detectors. Betrayal after betrayal after betrayal. The people you hired to do a job will never do the job. You have to do that job. The people you hired are there to fuck you over, to cover it up, to attack you if you speak out. These are murderers. Only murderers get those jobs, yeah? Only murderers get the jobs at like Professor Douglas Riley. Only murderers can get a job at a university. That's a fact. You've got to be ready to murder somebody or a known murderer to get a job at a university or at a government office, a high-ranking job. You have to be a murderer. And if anybody's not familiar with what I'm saying and think I'm over the top, you need to wake the fuck up. You need to grow up. You need to fucking wise up. You are at war. They are at war with you. They shut it all off. You paid them to fucking put it there. You paid to have it there. You gave them a job and a pension and the authority because you wanted it there. Or you're too busy sitting around being a moron watching Idiot Tube all day and you don't know the difference. Not your fault you were sucked into it. Not your fault that you were lulled into it. Not your fault in one sense. But it is. How many of you read your Bill of Rights or your Constitutions or your Magna Cartas? If you read that, you would know what your rights were. You would understand it is your obligation. You are obligated to hold these people accountable, to pay attention, to be the checks and balances. Oh, damn it, we paid for checks and balances, right? And that means you're fucking stupid as a rock. The minute you think that the government is going to hire someone to check them, you're fucking literally, you're so out of touch with reality. If you've got a business, yeah, are you going to let the employees take your credit cards, your vehicle? Huh? Are you? You're going to let your employees write down, oh, I worked an extra 30 hours that week, and you're going to pay them, are you? That's what your government does. Are you going to let your employees, dictate to you how to run your shop? Because that's what your government does. That's what the people we hired, allegedly, to do a job does. You have to be stupid to trust the government. You have to be a moron, even stupider, to trust anybody in a university. You have to be fucking hopelessly stupid to trust a professor or a nuclear scientist. After Fukushima and 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, or after Dr. Raymond Gilmedy's studies on beagle dogs and beagle puppies, every one of them died for 35 years, not a single dog has survived, ever, in any of the thousands of institutions killing just dogs. They kill everything else, every other animal out there, with man-made radiation. But Dana, no, Dana, we've seen the studies on the fruit flies. Shut your fucking mouth. I would strangle you right on the spot if you said that to me. On a public fucking stage. Because that's the only thing we can do with someone like you. You have to be removed. Nuclear scientists have to disappear from this entire fucking planet before we have a chance of a future. They gotta go. There's nothing good from a nuclear scientist ever. They'll tell you the truth from one side of their mouth and fuck you out of the other side permanently. I'm warning you. I'm telling you right now. You can look back on this in a few years. Yeah, Dana was right. And you didn't act on it. You didn't deal with it. The system didn't hold them accountable. There was no checks and balances. Society snapped at the end of it, and it was hell forever after. Because we don't hold these fuckers accountable. And the only people that can really hold them accountable at this stage is their friends and their families and their loved ones. But when you think about how revolting, how disgusting his version of reality is, when you think about the lies that he tells about 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, and Fukushima, when you think about the implications of your system being rigged with monsters like him, with soulless, spineless, idiotic morons like that, well, they're dangerous morons. They're deadly morons. They're frightening. What he done, what he wrote, is fucking frightening. That is unbelievable that someone like that exists. It's unbelievable that even after everything that's happened, the carnage and the death of the Pacific Ocean, that this smug, arrogant prick, this self-fucking righteous monster, is allowed free reign in the media. They'll let these people jump up in the media. Any media will allow that to go out and say anything. Do you think the media will quote me? No matter how fucking sweet I spice it up and spruce it up? No. But they let fucking monsters like that over and over and over indoctrinate their readers. You know, Santa Fe, New Mexico newspaper is the worst thing that ever happened to Santa Fe, New Mexico. The people that are working there are the worst fucking humans on the planet. You are the worst human on the planet when you allow that person to have a public fucking platform without another proper narrative to counter the lies. How can anybody allow this to happen? How can he do it? It's because these people are so used to being monsters, so used to being unaccountable, so used to doing what they're doing on purpose to fuck you over. He wrote the article to fuck you over. Do you think for 1 second he don't know what he wrote? Do you fucking understand what I'm saying to you? Do you understand it? What people like this are like. What they're doing to you. What they're doing to everybody in that community and across the country. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you fucking get what's happening? Do you get the end result of that? Do you understand how far down the fucking well we're stuck in now because of this cunt? Excuse the language. Not that a cunt is fucking bad, but that one is. I fucking hate him so bad. I disrespect him so much for what he done. I can't forgive people like that. I can't turn my back on people and forget about people like that. I can't say, oh, well, what are you going to do? I'm just one fucking person. Well, there's no videos of him on the internet. There is now. It's right here, right now. Not the best video. Not a video to be proud of in any shape like that. Not even... Right? And so, because you can't even talk about these people without fucking losing it. You can't talk about these people without the spite and the anger and the temper. You can't convey the message any other way. There's no other way to convey that message. That disgust, that contempt. How else do you convey something like that? How do you tell that story without the contempt? Because you're not telling the story without the contempt. I can assure you. The minute you try to find a nice way of saying it, you lost the fucking plot. And you lost the message. I'm not going to withdraw anything I say in passion or in the heat of passion or in the heat of the debate. Because isn't that where we really see the truth? Is when we snap. That's when the truth always comes out. You're fighting with friends or families, and then the fight gets rowdier and rowdier, and then the truth comes out. Yeah? That's all that's happened here today. That's all that ever happens in any of my videos at some point, sometimes. Is when I finally snap, then I say what I really mean. Then I say what I really fucking feel. And should I be ashamed of doing that? Am I supposed to sugarcoat it? Say, oh, here's another scientist who's lying to everybody. I don't know what to do anymore. He's lying. Or do you come out and hope that he watched the video, and that by the end of the video, that he took away, that he's stuck and he's burdened and he's saddled with those fucking words. Nothing might change, but his fucking mind will remember those words every so often. And that is the only retribution we can hope for. That is the only justice we can seek. Because Santa Fe is not going to, New Mexico is not going to hold that creepy, disgusting, demented, twisted, turd, piece of shit, useless fucking murderer accountable. No, Santa Fe, New Mexico will look for another one just like him and just let him up there. And then if you want to comment, you got to use Facebook. That way you drive people to the page anyway. So even if you don't like us, other people will come there and won't know any better. Why do these people exist? Why does Santa Fe, New Mexico exist? So people like this can have a fucking platform. So people like him can come out and fuck you over. They know what they're doing. They hate you. They despise you. And the proof of it is they allowed that article to go out there. They wouldn't allow the article to go out there if they liked you. Huh? If they liked you, they wouldn't allow that to go out there. No. They put that article out there because him and Santa Fe, New Mexico, hate your fucking guts. They think you're a shithead. That's their way of kicking you and stomping you when you get down. That's their way of fucking pissing on you and spitting on you and fucking going in and robbing you. That's what it's all about. It's all about fucking you. I'm not going to sit there and take it on your behalf. I'm not going to allow him to get away with that. And why he might never watch this video, and why no one might ever watch this video, and why I might get arrested for making a video. No matter what happens to me, I'm not going to look back and say, I wish I had done things different. That ain't going to happen. Outside of the point, I wish, I was in a position to do different. Yes. But anything I said tonight, would I change it? No. Would I pull any punches? No. If I had a chance to rewind and cut out any piece of that video tonight? No. Would I made it even worse? Probably, yeah. Would I yelled even more? Probably. And should I? Yes. And why wouldn't I? And why did Santa Fe allow him to get away with it? Why couldn't they do their basic fucking research and allow that? Why did they allow that to come out knowing that was going to set off people like me? Knowing that it was so many fucking lies, somebody was going to snap. Yeah, but you got to sign in with your Facebook to leave a comment. You got to use your real name. As if Santa Fe, New Mexico was worth my time, energy, or effort, or monetary. Why would you give them money? Why would you support Santa Fe, New Mexico newspaper? Why wouldn't you? Why shouldn't you call them up and tell them to go fuck themselves and hang up? I don't know. I can't give you the answer for that one. I think you should. I think you should call up the newspaper every fucking day for months and say, by the way, go fuck yourselves. But anyway, that's neither me or there or here or everywhere. So beware. Sometimes I snap. Sometimes I don't. Tonight is one of those nights, and I'm not going to apologize for snapping. Hi, everybody. Hugs, everybody. That's the end of the show, I guess. Made it through a show. Got a little show in. Hi, Rob. I need a paintball gun. Agreed. Shanikin. By the way, I know a lot of people are phoning me. I ain't got no minutes on my phone. I can't afford to put minutes. I just have a pay-as-you-go. I'm just a nobody. I'm just a broken-ass ex-commercial diver who done 260 days on the ocean, 15,000 miles of the coastline, and that's all. That's the giggity that I got, and that was funded by everybody from all over the planet. And it got done because we knew we had to send out somebody to get the documentation. You can find it all up at the Nuclear Proctologist. And it reminds me, anybody that can donate, you know, I can't exist without donations, but I do. But you can donate at PayPal, danadurnford@hotmail.com. That's all you type in, danadurnford@hotmail.com, you'll get me. And under most of my videos, you'll find the links at Beautiful Girl by Dana on YouTube. And you can donate at thenuclearproctologist.org with your credit cards. These are legitimate ways to donate. And, you know, the organizations that I'm competing against are getting millions of dollars a year, and some of them are getting hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And, you know, until I have a big enough audience and is able to raise enough money to change the game will continue, and it'll always be a game. But at some point I'll get my way, and it'll stop being a game, and I'll take these fuckers apart left, right, and center. I do it now, but I'll be doing it much better as I get the rest of the equipment that I need. And because I'll never stop. That I can guarantee you. They're going to have to kill me to get rid of me, and I don't care because I'm not going away. My voice will never disappear from the internet anyway. And so once again, let me come and say hi to everybody. Good night, everybody. CJ, Rob, Elaine was out there, still there. Thank you, Elaine, and Rob, and CJ, and Stetson, hey, buddy. Miss Milky never stops. Yeah, I checked out You Now, and it doesn't appeal to me. It's got a lot of issues for what I want. I still like it. It's still useful, don't get me wrong, but I didn't find it useful for what I want. CJ, Fukushima Expose. I know Expose. Hi, Mindy. Everybody that I didn't get to. Shani, I see is there. Solar Mechanic is there. Shani Balonga. See, I got to learn to pronounce people's names before I say it. Hi, Shoni. And Solar, anybody I didn't get, hugs for you. And I can't change the fact that I got bad eyesight and I should wear my glasses all the time. And so that's a good excuse for tonight, and I'll stick with it. And I know Kate from the Fukushima Hounds is trying to make her way down. And she could use some donations. Even $5 or $10 would go a long way with her until she gets down and settles down in Newton, Washington. She got hacked recently. The site was down for a couple of days. She got it back up. And she's stuck right now in Washington, or New Hampshire, trying to get her license and other stuff. And she looks like she's in good enough shape to make it there. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it wouldn't hurt. You'll find links under most of my YouTube videos for her too, to donate if you're interested. And to me, and I do need it, and I will need it. And the fight is a long way from over. It's a very long way from over. We're in the middle of summer, and I don't know if I got what it takes to do another expedition. I don't think I do. You have no idea how burnt out I am, right? I'm trying to do a documentary and a book, and that's just hellish. I don't have everything I need, and I don't foresee me being able to afford to get it. And that I've been demonized and attacked and vilified so much, you know, I don't have much hope of succeeding, but I will never stop trying. I will never stop getting better, I can assure you that. And I will never give up. That'll never happen. Hugs for everybody. Remember, I'm doing the best I can. It'll only get better. Hugs for everybody. We'll see everybody soon enough.